when you were in your fourth year, many of your batchmates graduated while you continued the fifth year of your undergrad course. What were your feelings at that time? How did you cope with it? What was the role of your coach? So when in my fourth year, yeah, a lot of friends, especially when you live in the same hostel, a lot of your neighbors change, and that's sometimes a pleasant surprise and sometimes not, because you got used to just banging the door of your neighbor and saying, "Hey, man, do you want to go for a tea or something?" So just socially, it feels, I wouldn't say depressing, but sad. It's kind of sad that, hey, your batchmates go. Then more than that, they when that process gets over, they are in the industry, they're solving problems, they're making money while you're still living off a stipend. It's kind of it sometimes makes you wonder, yeah, am I slower than them? Did I really make the right choice? Like, I could have been faster than where I am today. And so those were a couple of those feelings that do come to your mind. I think the way to cope with it is industry immediately propels you into problem solving. Yeah. Especially, for example, if you go to a consulting company, like you join them, a month later, you're into some assignment, cracking some problem. And that problem may or may not be relevant to your field. So you may have studied all your life computer science or let's say biotechnology. And then you go to consulting, and then the next day you're solving some biscuit manufacturer's problem. Very interesting. It is in the beginning very fascinating, I assume so, and can be very, very powerful and as a teaching experience. But then not having the ability to take what you've learned and then see its practical application, for me personally, is not fulfilling. I would like to see how everything that I've spent the efforts towards the last 4 or 5 years in my engineering degree gets applied in my daily life. It doesn't always have to be a PhD. It doesn't always have to be some scientific company or scientific project. Even in a business project, if I went to a consulting company, I would have want to, apply my intellect and leverage the knowledge that I developed during my engineering course in what I do, because that gives me an edge and allows me come much closer to the impact than a generalist would ever come. I think that fifth year and the ability to go deeper. So my fifth year project was in the intersection of signal processing and biology, and that was just the right let's say thing for me, because today what I do to a large degree is defined by that. I spent those 1.5 years of my master thesis in actually evolving my understanding of software, signal processing, machine learning, and all those things which I didn't learn through my courses in biology. And that combination of knowing a bit of software and signal processing and math combined with knowing biology, once I launched into the industry, made me very powerful. And that was the retrospective thinking that I had, that this time that I got through my master thesis is actually very powerful, developing my skill. And so once I finished 5 years, even though I'm a year late compared to my some of my friends who went to the fourth year, I'm probably going to have a 2 or 3 year leap compared to them in terms of the involvement and the positioning of the problems that I solved for. So that was interesting. What was the role of my coach? I think a lot of this thinking that I reflected to you was, also done with my coach. Some of it was my individual thinking, but then, was lacking evidence. And then every time talking to a coach, coach could give me practical examples of, hey, you know what, here is a friend of mine, he has been in the company like Meritronics, and he's done a Harvard MBA. Why don't you talk to him and figure out like what is the importance of, knowing the depth versus knowing the breadth versus knowing the business acumen. And also my coach helped me understand, the importance of science and just getting deeper into science and engineering as a part of, the industry, which I had come to appreciate through my engineering experiences, but it was just reassuring to connect with him. And then not only that, at a human level, my coach was very empathetic to me because he had, also seen that situation, given he was a past IITM alum. And he was able to explain me, why some of my feelings occur, and then, basically help me rationalize them, take a control over them, and then move on to continue on my journey rather than being stuck and confused by my own doubts. So I think it was quite helpful, and really the coach moved away from, I would say, a mentor to a thinking partner and peer. So that was, I think, really valuable as a transition and the right time.